We fully agree. You made some great points. I think, we have a sense now that, your top education institutions are amongst the best in the world, in fact. And I just want to acknowledge some good points you've made there. I liked what our MC said. You were asked and you got a good laugh. You're most important. You said the New Zealand EU FTA. I sadly find that a little hard to believe. But what I do want to ask you is, we're so small. Is there nevertheless, putting the trade aspect to one side, is there a strategic, is there a geopolitical aspect to this trade deal for you as Indians?
Well, we both got independence in the same year, 1947. We're both vibrant democracies. In fact, we also share the legacy of having come out of British rule and have been developing our economies. Of course, my constituency, just the one constituency that I represent out of 543 in India, has 60% of the population that you have over here. So there is huge difference in size and scale. But there's a huge convergence in thinking and commitment to democracy, commitment to the principles of brotherhood, commitment to sustainability. So in that sense, this is a relationship which has tremendous potential. Leave aside the size. Collectively, we are big, right? The important thing is intent. The important thing is whether the small population of New Zealand can benefit from the large market in India. Simultaneously, whether the large set of people in India can benefit from some of the innovations that you have done in New Zealand, some of the new practices that you are following in New Zealand. And just imagine, suppose you have a smart way of doing your kiwi farming. Now here you probably have very large farms, you're able to get very high productivity. Whereas in India we would have very small farms. An average farm in India is 2 acres, 1.5 acre. Most would be even less smaller than that. In that situation, if some of your technologies from here were to come to India and help our orange growers with some similarity in the citrus fruit, you could actually contribute to something which is very human also. The small farmers, small incomes, very almost sustainable level of sustainable incomes, barely sustaining their lifestyle. Sustenance farming is what you'll see in India, not commercial farming. Now, these technologies there can play a significant role. So it's not just about trade or immediate import-export. It's about also what you will be adding to human development over there. Similarly, you are an important maritime nation. India also has a huge coastline, may not be as big as yours probably, but there could be synergies in that cooperation and partnership. India is trying to develop a lot in the aerospace and defense sectors where we could work together with New Zealand. So I think there's a serious intent to expand the scope of our partnership from this small, what you were talking of, only 2% of your total exports go to New Zealand. It would be the same on the other side also. So I was also looking at my figures. Probably you are the 80th or 79th trading partner. But that didn't deter me from looking at you as an important trading partner. Also because it's so small, the delta of opportunity becomes large. If we look at it from that perspective, probably the growth we can achieve together, both sides, can also be large, because the small base gives us an opportunity to grow manifold. So I think, and I must say, of course, the two leaders, Honorable Prime Minister Lakshman and Prime Minister Modi, really went on, got together and became very close. And he's a very, very informal young Prime Minister. And I think I see tremendous potential also in the geopolitical partnership that is sought to be built between New Zealand and India.
Great words. And Minister Macleay, briefly from you, where does an India-New Zealand free trade agreement sit in your priorities?
Well, it's the number one priority we have. We said that the relationship with India would be a strategic priority, and that trade, of course, would be part of that. And it really is because when countries trade with each other, people grow the relationship that we need them to. And I agree absolutely with Piyush and everything that he said. And so, we've put a lot of effort in both sides, the two governments. You've seen Piyush visit now with the largest ever business delegation to New Zealand. When our Prime Minister went down in March of this year, it's the largest business delegation we've ever taken anywhere in the world. We celebrated the success of that with the launch of the negotiations. And so we're committed to continue to work at this. Just to follow on, opportunity is what we decide to make of it. As a small nation, we have often traded more, bought more than our relative size would suggest. With the US, we buy almost $8 billion worth of goods every year, services more. If you take another, large trading relationship we have, New Zealand through a free trade agreement with China. When that agreement was signed 20 years ago, there was a few $1 billion worth of two-way trade. It is now over $40 billion, and we buy almost $20 billion from more than 1 billion people, 5 million here. But that is actually just not buying consumable goods. It is buying things that actually jointly have value added to them that are sent out to the rest of the world. And so that's the real opportunity that we have to share through a high-quality free trade agreement, that the businesses of India and the businesses of New Zealand will find ways to grow wealth, to innovate, to find solutions to the challenges that the world face and are willing to pay for, that actually today we can't even imagine. This trade agreement is not about today or tomorrow or the next year. It's about the next 20 years and how much we achieve together.